All right, so let me show you how it works. All right, John, come on. So first move, guys. John's gonna have me here in this front headlock position. Chances are, my arm's gonna be on the outside here. It's obviously better if my hand's inside, and I have to always be conscious that if he ever opens his hands to strike me, like I want to be able to block this right here. That's super important. Now, we're going to save my hands on the outside, right? Let me show you how the move looks first, just like this. All right, let me break it down for you. So, step one is going to be making the frame, all right? The frame is the step one. So I make my frame, all right? If my hand's outside of his arm, that's fine. Just make a frame right here. Step two is going to be push away. See, this is the push, super important, and the walk away. So step two is push away and walk away, just like this. Step three is to raise both of my legs to the ceiling and put one leg over his head. So both legs raise and one leg goes over his head. Now you notice that I raise both of my legs instead of just trying to raise one leg over his head. So both legs come up and the far leg is going to go over the head. So both legs come up, far leg goes over the head, just like this. Now, also part of step three, I'm going to take my heels and drive them to the ground, and then once I have the momentum, I'm going to kick my legs out of the way. So they drive to the ground, and then I kick them, watch my legs, out of the way as I drive up. Now, next, just turn around here, guys. My hands are going to base on the ground right here. Super important because a lot of times, if the guy was strong before, he's going to get even stronger now. He's going to try to roll you over your head, right? So if I'm not prepared, look, he just kind of like rolls me over, right? So make sure that once you do this, hands go out, just like this. Now, step four is going to be the step over. In order to step over, what I'm going to have to do is take my left leg and kick him in the butt, making sure that my shin is flush with his back. Look. So step four is I kick him in the butt, making sure my left shin is flush with his back right here. And then my right leg is going to step all the way over. Like imagine you're trying to squash a bug on the ground right here. So I'm going to squash a bug with my right foot. And then I'm going to cut my heel all the way in to his hip, just like this. Now I have really good base because I have 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Now, step five, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left fist and my wrist right here, and I'm going to slide it across his neck, making sure to pay special attention that the blade is into his neck right here, as opposed to the flat part. So the blade is going to slide across his neck, and I'm going to make a fist with my left hand. Now, next step, step five, I'm going to take my right hand, it's going to go through the hole, going to go inside and go on top of my fist right here. Now, basically, in essence, I'm doing what I did when I was on the ground. You know how I made a frame in front of the arm? Now I'm just making that same kind of frame, but I'm making it under the arm. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my weight forward, 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 and let my knee pop up. See how my knee popped up in line with his head? So my weight is going to drive forward until his arm's open, and that causes my knee to go in line with his head like this. Watch. Perfect. And that's what you want to do when you do arm bars. You always want to look to make sure that your knee is kind of in line with his head or a little bit above. The farther your knee gets back here, it's harder to do an arm bar. So you want to make it flush like this. So once he lets go, I'm going to take his arm for step 6, and I'm going to pick it up, and look at my elbow. I'm going to put it on top of my thigh like this. See that, guys? Using my ribs to pin his arm through my wrist all the way to my thigh like this, okay? So look. So I'm pinning it, picking it up and pinning it to my thigh like this. Squeezing down. I'm going to stiff arm his face. I'm going to lean towards his legs. Now a lot of times I will take this leg and I'll move it over and get it out of the way of his armpit because it'll allow me to lean. When you guys are doing your arm locks, I always want you leaning. Lean for the arm lock. Imagine there's like a pillow on his legs and you're trying to put your head on the pillow before you're bringing your leg over. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to make sure that your leg goes over his face before your butt hits the ground. Alright, so we're coming here, bring it over, and then we finish our arm locks like this. elbow to wrist, meaning my elbow to his wrist, fist to fist. Easy to remember, elbow to wrist, fist to fist. My elbow to his wrist, my fist to his fist. Now lock everything up super tight, knees go together, hips slowly start to raise for the tap out. All right guys, so common mistakes I want you to avoid. Number one, all right? If he opens his arm, you have to address this. So hands gotta swim inside, all right? That's number one. So when you're drilling this, just make sure, especially when we start doing some of the positional training, that if your partner opens his arm, you get that inside bicep tie, and then you can start making your frame again. Still go back to step number one. All right, so step number one, we're framing. Step two, we push away, walk away. Now the common mistake I see here is what happens is people lift one leg, and then they assume that they can't get the leg over the head, all right, because they're not flexible enough. When the reality is they have to raise both of their legs. Both the legs come up, and then it cuts to the right. Look, just like that. The other common mistake I see is sometimes people try to put the outside leg over the head. So they raise the outside leg and try to bring it over, and it doesn't work. It's always the far leg that's going to raise. So we raise both legs up, and it cuts to the right. All right, and now I have the legs over. Another common mistake is people drive down, and then they get here, but they don't move their feet out of the way. So what happens is they get here and they kind of get stuck. Or they make it really difficult for themselves by trying to keep this left leg over the head and then trying to get up with the back leg here, and it's not a good position. Remember, both legs have to get out of the way to allow you to get up at the very final position. Now, as far as this part, a lot of times people forget to kick the butt, and then when they step over, the person locks them in half guard, right? And then that's a bad position for you as well, all right? So you want to make sure that we kick the butt, make sure that our thigh is flush with his back so that we can step over. Same thing here, if we're lazy with this leg, he'll just lock us in the half guard as well. So that's why we have to make sure to cut it into the hip. Next, a lot of times people put the flat part of their forearm on the face, and that's not painful. So what happens is they come here and the person's not letting go, and they're wondering why. You gotta make it painful by using the ridge of your wrist right here. Also, a lot of times people go to the outside. See, I can't really do anything here because he can push my arm away. He has his own frame. So we're gonna get around his frame by coming inside. And lastly, a lot of times people get here and they start pushing away. So I start to push and I can't get away because of my neck. I'm limited by the strength of my neck. That's why I don't want you guys pushing away. I want you driving your weight forward, right? Because then it's not limited by how strong like my neck vertebrae are. So I just go forward, look. And then he lets go. Actually, this is the last one. The most common mistake is people forget to lean towards the legs, right? And that causes them to make their butt to hit the ground before the left leg comes over. Meaning it looks like this. They'll go like this. And then they put the leg over. But the second this happens, the second I go like this, he comes up, right? And then the position changes, right? So make sure that when you're doing it, you don't do that mistake, right? So one more time, this is how it looks. Here we go, step one. Step two, push away, walk away. Step three, both legs up, head it to the right, legs go down for momentum, get your legs out of the way. All right, step three, all right, or step four, I think. What we're gonna do right now is kick his butt, hit my shin, flush to his back, right leg over, cut the heel to the hip. Got a good base, solid base now. All right, step five, drive your wrist across his neck. Right hand goes through the hole, your weight's gonna drive forward, knee pops up to his head. Step six, we're gonna make sure that we frame his face, pick up his arm, drive it on top of our thigh, and start leaning towards his legs in order for step seven, left leg to come over, knees to squeeze, finish elbow to wrist, fist to fist. Just like that, guys.